Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Adult Coloring with ILene Vick, and today I'm going to do a video on more concentrating on a technique, a particular technique, than coloring the whole page. I don't know, I may color the whole page, we'll see. But you know me, I'm quirky, so we'll see where it ends up. But the main thing is I want to teach you this technique because I think you'll like it. And it'll add another way to color in your war chest. All right, so the book I'm working on is Doodlers Anonymous, an epic coloring book. I honestly don't know if I've walked you through this or shown this to you before, but you know me, I never assume anything. So I'm going to flip through some of these pages real quick. Actually, I think I've done this. And what it is the author brought together a bunch of artists and said, here, draw what you want to draw, and then we're going to go ahead and make a book out of it for people to color. So that's what they did. And there's some really neat things in here. And then there's some really, boy, you think I'm weird. There's some weird things in here. So it's a neat little book. It was popular a couple years back. I mean, just little nice things. This will be a neat one. Just different. I think this will be fun to do too. And the one thing that I wanted to say, you know, people contact me and say, how do you know where to start on something? Let me use this as an example. Let's say you're going to color this one and you look at that and go, oh my gosh, you know, really? So what I would do, first of all, make sure that you generally like the page. The more you look at this, there's a little girl sitting in here that you don't see at first. And what I would highly suggest you do in something like this is start with the familiar. So here's a leg and a shoe, you know, so I would do the little girl and then I would work outward from there. And once you start doing that, the piece will start coming together for you. So that's what I do when there's weird stuff. Even on some things that are not weird stuff, I'll just start in one corner of it or one center of it or just whatever, and it just comes into place. So anyway, here's that book. Oh gosh, I would not touch this one, but that's me. Let's see here. Don't control your lines and colors. Let them be. All right, it took me a minute. But there are some really neat ones in here. I like this one. I could see having fun with these bricks. And I've shown you this one before. So, oh yeah, I've showed you this book. One of the things that I was thinking about doing on this one, if and when I do it, and I talked about this, is this water. I would either make a greenish or a blue. And then this will be a lighter, not a yellow, okay, which would be light, but this would be a lighter color of whatever you're making this water. So if you're going to make the water blue, for example, I would pick the color, and then for these areas here, I would go in lighter shades. Now, you see this little portion in here, okay? So when you're doing all this, when you do this, you'll do this darker, right? And then you'll do this lighter. And that's how you work that out. You need to look and see where everything falls. And then when you're coloring through, then you'll just change the intensity of what's on either side of the light. Initially, what I was thinking is I would do the water, the blue or the green, and then maybe do this a yellow. I'm not going to do that. Now, had this fish been inside this part here, I would have, let's say the light stream came here, I would have made this portion of the fish, whatever, you know, whatever color I chose on the fish, but made this portion of it lighter. So that's how I would work that one. And actually, the more I talk about this, I probably will do this one next, just to teach you and give you these ideas. So yeah, it's a neat little book. This one in the back is a relatively sane picture. I love it. It's the sneakers. I've seen this done. Different colored sneakers and then showing scuff marks on it. It's pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, just neat stuff. And the one thing you can say about coloring is it sure opens up your world to different ideas and just, oh, this is going to be neat. Different things. This looks like the world within worlds, doesn't it? Cool. Now, this isn't way complex. So see, here's like an octopus. So I would start with that. Maybe I would do the snake. Then I'm seeing a dragon in here. Just things start to pop up as you look. Fun, fun, fun stuff. This will be fun. So, moral of the story here is do portions that you like, that catch your eye, even though it's very complex on the page, and then work outward from there, and you'll be just fine. Okay. Oh, this is going to be fun too. So, the lesson I'm doing today is I'm working on this. This is one of the more sane drawings from this book. Let me get the book out of the way here. And the technique that I want to teach you is using a marker along with colored pencil. Now, you may say, hey, what's the newness here? Well, it's a little bit different probably than what you're used to. Let me pull you in. All right. And let me show you how it's done. So, looking at the blue, let me see something here. Excuse me, I'm going to backtrack. Looking at the red. Oh, even better, looking at the brown. I'll get there, guys. I know, you love me anyway. So, let me sharpen this pencil. I'm going to use my blending pencil as a pointer. All right, so here's the concept. The brown marker was used around the outside of the object, okay? And then a brown pencil was used, and the brown pencil was then used inside the marker, a darker version of the brown pencil, okay? And then a lighter version of that brown pencil. Now, I don't want to blend this too much because I happen to like these streaks, okay? But see how that brown pencil, see, you can see it on my blending pencil. This is really cool. But it's a neat little technique. It's used on every single case here, and when you look at the overall effect, it really makes for a neat design. All right, let me clean off my blender pencil. You can see it here in the green. Now, you have a choice. You can either streak, which this one did, I did, or you can smooth this out. But this has three components to it. It's got the marker outlining the inside, and then using one color pencil, the dark, and then lighten it up. Let's look at the red one here. Same thing, a nice red marker, and then the matching pencil. And in this case, see, you can see the dark right here. I'll pull you in. Okay, so you can see the darker pencil here, and then you can see your light, okay? And you know me, I've always told you, you start what? With your light first, and then go ahead and add your darkened part. You can really see it here, all right? The outside, and then we got the inside going. Now, let me pop back here. You can even see it here where I use the gold marker. Okay, see that right here? And then I use the yellow pencil, darker, and then a very light. See it? Same here. You can't see the really light part here because it's teeny tiny, but see where I streaked it. Okay, so it's a neat little technique, and I want to teach you how to do that because it's gonna add a really neat dimension to your pieces. All right, so let me take a sip of water. Oh, that tastes good. And actually, it's a very quick technique to use. It's nothing complex or confounding. Because you know by now I would never ever teach you anything confounding. If you can't do what I'm training you to do, then that's my fault. Okay, so I'm going to get this orange. Okay, so I've got this outlined in gold. And these are, I don't know if you remember these were popular a while back, but these were the connector pins by, let me see if we can get that, yeah, Faber-Castell, okay? And they're really neat. I've got a whole tin of these that I use. Let me pull you out so I can show you. In my soup can, I've got a soup can full of these. Actually, while I'm looking at this, let me pull this peach and see how that looks. It looks too brown. Yeah, I'm just going to stick with this orange. Now, of course, I've checked my paper to make sure it's not going to bleed through. This is pretty substantial paper in this book. But having said that, when you are coloring with markers, you don't want to hover a lot in one spot. Keep rubbing in one spot because it's going to mess you up. All right, so let me pull you in. Because you know I'm not afraid of macro view. And let's go. All right, so very light, right? Now, don't worry about this coming in super dark. Okay, see, that did not come through at all, so we're good to go. And you don't want to be overly concerned about making perfect lines, a perfect distance. I'm deliberately letting that streak. You'll see why in a minute. Now, if you want perfect lines, make perfect lines. That's cool. Now, this I'm going to make very narrow because it's a teeny tiny spot. Okay. And again, I'm just outlining with markers. Gonna let that carry over. And this is going to be a teeny tiny spot. I'll probably obliterate it, but, well, I'm just going to do two sides. There you go. It solves that problem. All right. So now, after I cap my pen, I am going to get my orange pencils. Let's see, I've got 2 tins of orange pencils. So, Now, oh, no. I didn't pre-select my oranges because I wanted you to watch this. There's a good candidate right there. Now, having said that, though, that is a little close to that orange, though. Got to be careful. Let's see something here, because if I go darker, yeah, actually, that is a good candidate. Okay, I'm going to go with this first one here because I don't want to get super fussy and start going through a dozen pencils before I choose one, although I'm pretty good about not doing that. Okay, so watch. I'll get you in close. So I'm going to, what? Lightly color. Don't worry about the stark edge. See how we got that? And then that won't be there when I'm done. So I'm going to lay down, you know, I always tell you, lay down your lightest color. And I may leave it that shade, I may not. But the point is, you come in with a light color and then you... excuse me, and then you fix it from that point on. Not fix it, but play with it from that point on. Okay, so that's my light color, right? So now I'm going to go in and remember, let me show you on this case, we've got the outline, we have the dark pencil, and then we have the light pencil. Okay, so this is in effect my light pencil. This is my dark. So now I'm going to go back in with my pencil and I'm going to shade in next to my marker. Look at that. Is that not neat? So now I'm starting to get that really neat transition right there. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I told you you'd like it. Are you not glad that you're watching this video? Yeah. All right, now I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to go back because I just want a little more here. Just a touch. Now, originally I had this coming in a little bit of a distance. I'm just going to stay on the very, very edge because I just want to bump that up just a tad. So in other words, I'm not going over the same width that I laid down. And you're going to see why in a second. I'm right next to that edge. Look how neat that looks and that texture on there. So I'm just right up on that edge. As you know, if you don't know, when you layer marker, it layers it darker. That's why sometimes when you color with marker, you've got to do it right the first time. Look at that. Isn't that gradation beautiful? All right, so now I'm going to grab my eraser. And I'm going to make sure that little puppy's cleaned off because it's got red on it. And I'm going to color with my eraser. Remember that lesson? Because I want that white. I did it on the roses. And I especially want it white around that latch. Look how that's popping out. Is that not cool? And I'm going to hit this a little bit because that narrow part here, yeah, it went away because of the thickness of my marker. Look how sweet that looks. Now, when I do my white, I want a little bit whiter down here than I do on the sides. That's just an artistic choice, but you'll see why in a second. Isn't that cool? And that is basically done. Look at that. Let me pull this. I'm going to blend this just a tad more. Oh yeah, I'm real happy with that. And I'm not even going to color that center, I don't think. I just like the white, and I like the white on the buckles. So here's my next point. Sometimes you can color with white, and by that I mean instead of coloring in the page with a color, you leave it white, which is exactly what I did. Look how nifty that looks. Isn't that cool? I love that white around this latch. All right, so let me pull out so you can see. And look how fast that suitcase happened. Isn't that neat? So I'm going to probably I'll do one or two more. Just depends what kind of mood I'm in. And you'll get to see this. The other thing that I did not do, see that little streaky on the brown right there? I didn't really want to do that on this because I like the smooth orange. So I left it smooth. Maybe the next one I'll do streaky. Okay, so that's done. Let's see. So maybe I'll do a nice purple. And what you want to do is you want to let your marker dictate what pencil you use. Pull you in. So here's one fine liner. Ooh, I like that. Purple's my favorite color, by the way. Actually, I think I'm going to use both those, and I'll show you why in a second. Okay, going to do this one. All right, so now I'm going to use my lighter purple. So this is a little addition to the technique that I just showed you. Let's see. I'm surprised you guys weren't yelling at me to use my little paper towel because I forgot. Okay, so I'm going to use the lightest purple. And again, you're going to see why in a second. Now, a little different that I'm doing, instead of coloring down this way, I'm coloring this way. Now, I have one or two choices. I can continue to go over the same area with the same marker. See where it's darker there. But I don't want to do that because I want to show you something else. But I just wanted to tell you that so you can see little marker techniques here that you can use. So you can either stick with just the one marker and go over the same area a couple times to make it darker. Okay, see how that's getting darker right there? That adds character. I love it. Or, now notice that the author had hash lines in there, so that's coming out darker. That's fine. Okay, don't get too carried away with your lighter purple because I want to show you this. So now I'm using my darker purple. Watch this. Now, very thin line around the outside. Look how dark that little puppy's getting. You'll see it in a second when I round the corner. Narrow line. Could I thicken it up? Yeah, if I wanted to, but I don't. Let me see if I can get you in closer here. Yeah. Look how cool this looks. And again, nothing is coming through the other side, so we're good. But you got to be really careful because now you're flirting with a darker color. And the reason that I'm keeping a very narrow line with my purple marker is because I can't really blend it into the lighter marker, right? I have to leave it the way it is, which is fine, which is what I knew. I knew it was going to happen that way. All right, so let me pull my purple now, pencil. I'm sorry, I keep hitting the camera stand. So now I'm going to play with some purples too dark. You want a slightly lighter purple possibility. Boy, that's awfully red. Yeah, I don't think I better do that one. You want to pick a pencil that you can both darken and lighten, and that's going to look awfully blue against that. That you can darken and lighten. Actually, well, maybe. That's not going to be the exact same. I like it. I can darken and lighten it, but it's awfully close to that, so we're not going to do that. Oh, there's a promising one. Okay, I like that one. So let me sharpen my pencil. And I'm going to keep you micro view, but I'm going to pull you out just a tad. So here's my lighter color, or my lighter shade, I should say. And I want to get a really nice smooth finish here. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to blend that. I do want it smooth. So I'm going to hit that with my blender pencil. Okay, now you can still see my jog from the marker to the light purple. So just like with the orange, I'm going to put a little gradation there around the outside. And you can see how beautifully that's coming in now. And notice how, see how I just kind of came down here, but I didn't color right in that little spot? That's what I want. I do want that. Look how neat that looks. Now, it looks a little wonky close up like that. But look how great it looks when I pull out. Is that not neat? And if I want to, I can just smooth that out a little bit. Haven't decided what I'm going to do. Well, wait a minute. Let me do something here. I'm going to grab a very bold red. And I am going to very lightly color this. Okay. And then I'm going to just hit the outsides with it a little bit. Let's streak it a little bit. So I'm hitting the outside on the bottom and the left side. That's it. I'm pull you in real close. Because I don't want that patch to be solid. Now, as you can see, I missed a little bit of purple here when I blended, so I'm going to hit that with my blender pencil. Yeah. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to grab, oh, I don't know, a nice pink, maybe. What do you think about that? Now, a lot of you are used to the artists already having all their pencils ready when they color. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to let the piece dictate as I went along and while I was filming. I think a lot of you, when you color, you are so used to artists picking particular colors that you absolutely expect them to be in their hands when they go to color. And I didn't want to do that. Oh, I don't like that brown. I don't like that one either. So, like I said, I deliberately didn't have colors ready. Yeah, I like that. All right, nice sharp point. And I want you to watch very carefully what I do with this square because it is big enough, whoop, that I can do this. Where am I? Oh, come on, there we go. So this patch, which is part of this, I'm going to very, very lightly do in my brown. Now, I didn't bother with my marker because it's a smaller area. So I'm going to use my pencil and gradate it that way. Look at that, isn't that neat? And I may add a couple of streaks. And then I'm going to hit it with my finger. And yeah, I smear a little bit. And just use my eraser. Excuse me. Clean that up. Not bad. And then I'm going to, let's see what I want to do with this. I'm going to get my black narrow, teeny tiny pen. And I'm going to go ahead and do my little buckle. Very carefully do my buckle. And once again, because this buckle is so tiny, I actually am going to color while I'm looking through the viewfinder, which I think is hysterical. But hey, it works. Whatever works. Careful you don't obliterate the detail on your buckle. And I'm going to go ahead and let's see here. You know, I'm not going to color this in where the suitcase comes together. I'm just going to enhance the line. I want that line to show up a little more, because I want that gap to show. Don't think you have to color everything in, guys. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, now I just got some new silver pencils. It's a metallic silver. So I'm going to go ahead and do my buckles for the latches. Now again, I'm doing this very light until I decide how I want to shade that. And I really hope I know that you see why I keep griping at you to do your stuff light first. Because it gives you the opportunity to make decisions while you're coloring. So now I'm just going to do the outside a little bit here, top and left side. Oh, that looks cool. Going to angle that just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to do the opposite corner. So down, over, angle. Oh, I'm so sorry. Down, over, my bad. Angle. Okay. And that looks really neat when you pull out. And I'm going to go ahead and I think the rest of this, I'm just going to go ahead and hit that with the silver since it's so teeny tiny. Look how neat all that buckle detail paid off. And I'm going to get my pencil and I want to smooth this out just a little bit here. Careful not to smooth away your white spots because it makes it look cool. All right, and one more thing I'm going to show you. Remember I was telling you that if you wanted to darken in a place with your markers, just keep going over the same. Well, I want to darken this. Watch. And notice I'm extending it a little bit past the lines. Watch this, see? See how I came out with that little V? And you see where those little dots are? I'm just going to hit those dots just a little bit, little circles on the dots. Oh, there are the dots. Okay. Now I'm going to pull out so you can see both pieces. And I'll get you oriented the right way in a second. And pull you out so you can see. How neat does that not look? Isn't that neat? Or I should say, how neat does that look? I am thrilled with that. The technique is straightforward. Again, just a real brief recap on this is you want to go ahead and outline your piece with marker. Then you want to take one pencil color and that's complementary to it, and you outline that marker on the inside, of course, with the darker version, but first you lay your pencil lightly over the whole thing and then go ahead around the inside of your marker and figure out your tones from there. By the time this is done, it's going to look really cool because it's going to look textured all the way through. And you know me, how I like to take my pens and add stuff. I mean, I could get my pens and just add little dots or, you know, whatever the case may be, but I will refrain from doing that probably. Maybe. Maybe. Okay, guys, I really hope that you learned something with this technique. And you probably don't have this book, so I'd like you to consider doing it on your other coloring books. Could you imagine doing this on a Johanna Bosford book where you've got all those flowers and stuff? Make sure, though, that the paper will take the marker. But that would be so cool. Just imagine those open areas. All right, guys, this is ILene Vick for Adult Coloring with ILene Vick, and I hope you learned something. I really enjoyed doing this for you, as I always do. Guys, please put comments in, would you? I'm feeling a little down that I'm not hearing from you, but hey, whatever. I still enjoy doing this, but it would really lift my spirits. But not going to stop me from coloring, of course, because I really enjoy this. Excuse me. Again, ILene Vick for Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. Joyous coloring. Bye.